Okay, so here are 5 key reasons ketamine therapy might not be right for you. Ketamine therapy, for those of you that are new, involves basically integrating into therapy the ketamine therapy experience, where you are mailed the ketamine. You, as a lozenge, you put it in your mouth, you swish for 15 minutes, then spit it out, put a sleep mask on, put some headphones on, listen to music, and really go inward and process a lot of issues, goals, values, how you see yourself, what you want your life to be about. It's essentially psychedelic therapy, and it can really produce some amazing results, some really profound changes in growth. But there are contraindications. There are conditions or situations where ketamine therapy might not be right for you. So let's go over the top 5. The first is, of course, a medical contraindication. Ketamine therapy does raise your blood pressure. So if you have major cardiovascular issues, if you have glaucoma, it doesn't raise your blood pressure a whole lot, kind of like the equivalent of brisk walk. But if you're kind of already on the edge, if a doctor is telling you shouldn't exercise, you have major blood pressure issues, that's going to be a contraindication. The company that I work with, once I send in your information, they will reach out to you. And as part of the process of providing you the ketamine, they will go over they'll review your medical history. So to make sure. So be sure to let them know if you have any issues with blood pressure, as well as a ketamine allergy or hypersensitivity, although, don't ask me how you're supposed to know that, but if you have it, be sure to let them know. Second reason is if you have a history of psychosis or bipolar mood disorder, because ketamine, along with other psychedelics, can sometimes worsen psychosis in some patients. So if somebody is in an acutely manic or mixed manic state where they have mixed mania and depression, not a really good combination for ketamine therapy. Also, intense or very heavy suicidal ideation. The ketamine can actually help with that. It can help reduce suicidal ideation and depression. A lot of other medications only reduce the depression, which can then leave people in a much greater propensity to commit suicide. So this is a good option for people who have suicidal ideation, but it's probably not the best approach for kind of remote work if a person is highly suicidal. Which then leads to the next point. The third reason you might want to avoid ketamine therapy is if you are in a very chaotic or unstable situation in your life. Think of it like this. We all grow up, and during that process, we are often harmed. We're exposed to humiliation, abuse, bullying. And so what we do is we kind of put on armor, metaphorical armor. That armor protects us at the cost of flexibility, at the cost of feeling a sense of freedom. So if you've been hurt in relationships growing up, if you have an avoidant attachment, you're going to put on that armor. That's going to protect you from rejection, but kind of limits your life, what you can do. It limits your ability to connect with other people. With ketamine therapy, with psychedelics, you start to shed some of that armor, which is good. It's good for the long term, but during the process, you're going to feel a little bare. And so you're going to want to go through this process, this transition, in kind of an island of stability. So I've had people come up, lawyers studying for the bar exam, and they want to start ketamine therapy with the bar exam taking place next month. And I have to tell them, wait until you've taken the exam, wait until you know the results, and then we can start the ketamine therapy. It's really best when you're sort of at a crossroads. So after graduating college, after you've retired, right? when you're considering taking the next step in a relationship. These are all good times to have ketamine, but not necessarily when you are in the process of moving your house, or right in the process of a divorce, or a major exam going on, in the not too distant future. Think of it like quitting smoking or quitting drinking. Ketamine can be very helpful for that, but I mean, if you're in the middle of a divorce and you're moving and going through all of this, it's just going to be so much stress that there's going to be an insane sense of temptation to go back to it. Okay, so generally, you want to treat it like a major process in your life, and so you're going to want stability as you're kind of going through this crossroads in your life. Fourth major reason is if cash is tight. Insurance will often cover the preparation for the ketamine therapy, the integration. So if I'm helping somebody prepare for a ketamine therapy experience, or even a psychedelic experience, I've worked with people going up to Oregon for a psilocybin experience, and have helped prepare them, their goals, what they hope to get from the therapy. That's often covered by insurance, as any other preparation would be. And sometimes after the experience, sort of the integration. So if someone comes to me after the ketamine therapy experience, whether it's with me or others, it's exactly the same as if they had a big insight from a sweat lodge. We process that, we integrate that, insurance covers that. But insurance won't cover the dosing session, which for ketamine is usually 2 hours, and so I have to charge my regular rates, and that can pretty quickly add up. Most insurance companies will often not cover the medical consult for the ketamine, and so that often will have to be paid, out of pocket. Now, this is all changing. The main reason is because it is effective for alcohol use disorder. So if your option is covering ketamine or intense inpatient treatment, the ketamine quickly becomes a much more economically viable option. So insurance companies are rapidly seeing the light when it comes to ketamine therapy, psychedelic therapy. But it's going to take a while. These are major organizations. You want to think of it as kind of like computers in the 90s. The price is going to drop, but right now you're kind of paying for novelty. You're paying for techniques that are somewhat new and very effective, the next generation. Unfortunately, that often comes with a premium. The fifth reason, the final reason, is if you are looking for a quick fix. We have this concept with psychiatric medication where you wake up, you take a pill, you take a Zoloft, take a Prozac, Wellbutrin, and you sort of sit around and you wait for the effects, right? You wait for the side effects, you wait for the therapeutic effects, you measure them, you talk with your psychiatrist. That's the process. Ketamine therapy, psychedelic therapy does not work that way. They've even done studies where they've given people in anesthesia ketamine, and the success rates, the therapeutic treatment has been very minimal, has been nil. For this process, for ketamine therapy, there needs to be wrapped in it a therapeutic program, okay? The big element with ketamine therapy is to have a vision, to have a mantra, and then go out and work for it, right? It will make the process a lot easier, but it won't do it for you. So if your vision is, I need to be connecting with people, then you're going to need to connect with people. It will help you with your anxiety. It will help reduce the impact of that, but you still need to, push yourself. The equivalent is if you are taking steroids and you go to a gym. If you don't pump if you don't go into the gym, if you don't work out, you're not going to see any benefit, right? Not that I want to equate steroids with ketamine, but you get the idea. Part of the process with therapy is becoming assertive with yourself. and other people. So if you're doing this to quit smoking, people are still going to offer you cigarettes, right? If they don't know your goals or they don't understand. And so you need to kind of practice being able to say no, right? If you're looking to quit drinking, you got to focus on finding alternate activities, right? You got to find a life beyond your addiction. That is all part of the therapeutic process. And additionally, you need to take time to prepare for the ketamine therapy experience. Part of the process, I really recommend people focus on, of course, self-care. So that involves doing some cardio, focusing on some mindfulness. And then as the first session approaches, I encourage clients to go spend time in nature, reflect upon their values, what's important in life, what do they hope to get from the ketamine therapy experience, right? Get away from your day-to-day life, go into nature, reflect upon your values. And then after the session, do the same thing. Go over what you learned, how to apply it, what are your values, how have you changed. So these are the basic things to talk about, especially the blood pressure and psychosis. You really want to talk with your therapist, whoever your therapist is, about the risks and the benefits of ketamine therapy. Thank you.